or Epic Games? Very simple.
Do we have to answer that?
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. But yeah, it's a difficult
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the True Sweat podcast. This is the first edition of the podcast. I am joined by GFC members Dom and Viking and DL Car. And we are going to have a quick little introduction to let everyone know who each other is. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name's Onyx. I'm now part of RawGamers. I've been in the community quite a few years. And I have a decent amount of Gears knowledge. But a lot of people have a bit more than me, especially when it comes to lore. But when it comes to community and multiplayer, I know my tings, as they call it. So I'm going to move you over to introduce yourself to DL Car.
Howdy, I'm DL Car, Donald. Been playing Gear since 2006. That's pretty much all you need to know for me.
Okay, now just hand off to Dom from GFC.
Hi, I'm Dom. I go by Futuristic Blade. Been here since 2006, but I haven't been active in community since UE. So, yeah.
Nice. Moving on to Viking from GFC.
Hi, I'm Viking from GFC. I've been playing Gear since 2006. I've been with the GFC since 2009, doing these community events.
It's a long ass time, man.
Long time.
Right, I think we're just gonna
back then we. Sorry, Sean.
No, go
back
on.
then we weren't. We were the EGFC before we were the GFC.
When you guys, I'm sure someone told me that didn't you take over a group before called the Onyx Guard group or something like that?
Did we?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
Because I had a friend ask me, say, did they take over? Because there used to be a community group called the Onyx Guards or something.
There used to be, exactly. But we collaborated with them a few times, but as far as taking over, it's been pretty much the group that we've had since as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. So I'm going to kick things off. So, you guys have not posted a community event for a long, long time now. Like, what's the crack? What's the deal? What's going on?
Basically, Gears 5 is going on. We're kind of disenfranchised right now. I mean, we want to, but every time we try to, something with the game just happens. The game's been a mess.
Yeah. So
we really haven't had the creative juices to get something going.
So so I used to be a part of a group, Crimson Squad, as you guys know. It was the same for us. We had a massive gap of just nothing. The game wasn't feeding us anything at all. Like there's no content. There was no. There's not really much communication with TC either. There's also issues with the game, and there's the hate of the game, and there's like we like to be creative with events and stuff, right? Same as you guys, and it just I don't know. There wasn't. We didn't expect Gears 5 to be what it was when it released. We expected it to be amazing, and what we got was a completely different sort of story.
Yeah, I think Dom would agree, right, Dom?
Yeah, it started off with a good idea, but it wasn't executed properly. And then the community, they just all kind of moved along, so there wasn't really the audience to make the events. So, yeah, it's tough.
So if there was that you all could add or change in the game that would actually make events more effective and easier to do, what would that be?
What would that be? I mean, an easy one was just having the community have an actual feature inside the game Like when you would load up the game, you could then see all the community events happening that week. So then everybody wouldn't know whoever's playing that week to join the community. And we don't have that right now.
Kind of like the calendar. Remember the calendar in Gears of War 3?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. Another thing on our end would be the private settings. Just make it easier for groups like us to integrate stuff into it. I know they did some of that with Gears 3, Epic did, and then TC tried it with Gears 4. It wasn't too great. In 5, I haven't really gotten into the settings much, but from what I've been into, it's changing things around is a little difficult.
Yeah, they've not really added anything in Gears 5 private settings that really have changed the game, and there was so many talks about it in Gears 4. It's from us and GFC and all these groups that it was the most requested thing, and they just it seems to be just put aside. I mean, they've added a couple of things in Gears 5, such as like one shot, one kill is now a setting, which is great, but there needs to be a toggle. There needs to be like a weapon swap. Like you can have all drop shots, all boom shots. That's what we want as creators. And
exactly. Sean's right on 100% right on where I was going with that.
Yeah, it's just not there. It's like the effort for that sort of side is just gone. It was in Gears 4. It was there. I think Crimson Squad and GFC were the top community groups in Gears 4 doing that thing. We were the only group out there doing that type of stuff, and it just when it's not cared about, things just fall apart. And it's just it's unreal.
Yeah.
One other thing I'd like to change, if it was possible, is the integration between the coalition and these community groups, and making it easier for communication. Hey, this is what we want to do. I know Liam left, and that took a lot of it away. But we had an event that we were working on for Gridiron, and it was hard to communicate with them. The new community manager came in, and she's great, and I'm not gonna badmouth her. But trying to communicate with her, it's every time it was I say something to her, or Dog would say something to her, it's, well, I got to get Dana's approval. Where with Liam, we didn't have that. It was, hey, you guys, we're gonna do this. And Liam was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he had the green light.
And that kind of makes it hard on our end to do stuff. So we were like, if we're going to have this kind of communication right now, it's not really worth putting something out.
No, I totally get that. I 100% agree that I think there is communication to some aspect, and then some days there could be next to zero. But that's always been an issue with TC. I think when TC Octus was active there, he was probably one of the most active TC members in the community. He was talking all the time. But you still
he comes from the community, though. He came from GCon, so he understands where we're coming from and what we were doing. Yeah,
that is very true. He done a lot with Gears. A lot of people don't realise how much stuff he actually done at TC as well.
Yeah.
He was a workhorse. He actually was. But the current TC team, they are doing good. The communication's getting better, but there's still, it's like with Gears 4 with the communication. There's still room for improvement.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, so I've not seen you guys active for quite a bit on Gears 5 either, to be honest. I've not saw you guys like jumping on. I see you guys smiling. I'm going to hit you with this because I've got to ask everybody this. I was like, is the hype gone for you for Gears 5? Is it, is it what's happened in Gears has kind of gone down, or is there a reason you're not as much as you're on the game all the time kind of thing? Because you guys used to be like a 24/7 Gears. I used to watch Mad Malks. From GFC, he used to stream all the time, and the streams have just gone. It's the same for us. It's just happened as well.
Yeah, no, I mean I've been playing lately about every night, but just about like an hour or two with a couple friends. Because if you play solo, it's it's bad right now. But the game itself, the love for the game is still there. I still enjoy the feeling, of clutching, of that 1v1.
Yeah.
It's more personal, Gears, but the actual game, I honestly, it doesn't evoke any emotion. It's just cool, a new character. I mean, I like how Dizzy was brought back. I like Ty being back finally,
Yes.
Yeah.
but that's little things. The game itself
Yeah, I
is
was just
much the same.
rolling. I was just rolling Ty out on Guardian the other night, playing with a couple of friends. But I mean, I play for an hour and a half of Gears, and then it's like, hey, this is why I don't play this game anymore.
Mm.
It doesn't do it for me like it used to. I love it. I love the series. I love Gears of War itself, but Gears 5 it doesn't light that fire like it used to light.
Mm. A lot of the veterans, like, I'll consider you guys veterans, all said the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're doing better, but it's kind of like a little too late kind of thing. I love Gears 5, but I would treat it like the other Gears. I think it's a good game, but there's still improvement. But it's the same for all Gears. It's like people moan about the Nasher, for example. The Nasher gets constantly changed all the time, but people forget about the Nasher in Gears 1 and forget about it in Gears 2. They forget how bad it was back then and how long it took to get it right back then as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that Ty's back, I'm going to be on Gears 4.
I do like his Gears 2 variant with the shoulder pad. Like that's a good.
The Hive Buster, is that what they're calling it?
Oh no, it's got the hollow tie, is it?
The hollow one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Hollow Storm. Yeah,
It looks good.
Yep, I'm gonna work towards unlocking that.
They have been doing a lot of good work on characters and maps recently. Like their new maps, I think, look really good, and they do play quite well as well. I just wish I wish they'd post more new maps than they would.
I know Nexus. We played Guardian on that the other night, and God, that map is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a good
Nexus.
map.
It's just I got
It reminds me of Ruins.
4K TV.
Yeah.
And the 4K Xbox One X. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys feel like there's still a place for community groups in Gears, and is there a future in that, or is it pretty much like a dead?
No, yeah, there's still a place. Absolutely. And once they get closer to Gears 6, I think it's gonna hype back up, especially if it's decent. If they can get the multiplayer is getting better now. If they can get it to the point to where hey, this is what everybody likes. There's a place. I'm sure we'll be back doing our thing too.
I think the biggest thing that happened in this game, transitioning from 4, was the change of focus from the actual community and how well the game plays, just the competitive. Yep. And the competitive scene, I mean, it was never huge.
Yep.
It was bigger back in the days, but it didn't do too good, and it brought the game down hard.
Yep.
The actual true fans didn't enjoy the game. It didn't play out how they wanted it to. Yeah. Hopefully that changes. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. In your sort of eyes, what do you think the biggest issue is with Gears right now? Well, personally, what do you think it is? Like, if you could change the one thing that you could change right now, that you think would benefit the game, what do you think the change? What do you think it would be?
The community.
Yeah.
The toxicity of the community and how everybody just bitches and complains about everything. They change the Nasher. Oh, we're going to complain. They change the Lancer. Oh, we're going to complain. We're putting these characters out. Oh, somebody's going to bitch. It's we're supposed to be together in one community, and I've been around this community since 2009. It's more divided now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely, the community has shifted a lot. From especially like Gears 4, it was very everyone was staying together kind of thing. Gears 4, and towards the end, when they started announcing new things and changes and stuff, there's just started to grow a hate for the game, and it's just it's just not going to help the franchise or the TC team at all, really. Yeah.
I mean, if you actually look at it, and you write everything down that they've done for Gears 5, they actually haven't done a bad job because advertising, collaborations, characters, maps, they've actually done a, and the story, I mean, it's new, but they didn't do a bad roadmap. The biggest problem, like Viking says, is just they took away the feeling that you were part of the actual game and the community.
Yep.
Like, there's
Yep.
no reason to truly play the game other than just completing your tour. And I mean, if you have friends online, like back in the days, that would be cool. But with the audience leaving, the game's just dying out
I
slowly.
know we used to, Dom and myself and Mad Dog and even Laureate, man, we used to just get together and just roll out and play for, a squad of 4. And it's hard to get Taylor and, Laureate and Dog on to play now because they're just disenfranchised by the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the 4 of us, we used to get together. We used to have a great time and just, do our thing and have fun and play. And it's hard now to do that.
It is. A lot
One
of
of
the... Go on.
big divide in the community right now is the esports community or competitive community and the content creators. You all feel like either one is more important to the growth of the game, or do they each play their part? And
they each play their part. They have to, one has to feed off the other. Okay, they're doing this, the esports aspect, which is great, but they need to say, hey, go check these people out. And then the content creators like us should be like, hey, they're doing a esports tournament. Let's support that. I know every time something on the esports end, the major tournaments are out there, I'm trying to tweet it off the GFC account as much as I can. Every day of it that I can.
Yeah, the biggest thing also is, at least what I've noticed, is they try to become what other games are doing.
Yeah.
And they can't do that because Gears is not. Gears is its own thing. The skill curve is completely different.
Yep.
You can't just focus on competitive and think that small, like 10% of actual viewership that goes to the main audience of Gears is going to feed the whole Gears legacy. It doesn't work like that. And I saw a lot of new people on Gears 5, and they all had the same complaint. The game's too hard to play. How do you get better? And I mean, they tried to, like, in better words, they tried to dumb it down, but it didn't work out. I mean, they've destroyed the Nasher several times.
And that drove a lot of the older guard away by them doing that.
Yeah. So, hopefully they don't do that for 6. Let's see how it goes.
If there is a 6.
That's the problem, is how do they bring in new players, because... the game, I do agree, they try to make the game at the start noob friendly, which I agree that they need to at some extent to get more players in, like, they've done that boot camp, that's probably a good idea for anyone who's a new player to Gears, but it doesn't mention wall bouncing, it doesn't mention any of the sort of thing that people, you have to go to YouTube for that type of thing, because, like, for me personally, when I played Gears 3, I was dog shit until I found out all the different ways of playing. Like, I didn't know what wall bouncing was until I watched some tutorial on YouTube, you know what I mean? There's got to be some sort of thing to be able to say, these are the sort of things that are in the game, and this is why it's so, it's so diverse.
See, that goes back to the community side of it, too, though. We need to help each other out with that, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, go over here and check this out. If you want to get better, learn from this, watch this person play, watch this set of videos. But we don't do that. It's so fractured right now. And, back in the old days of the forums, when Gears 2 and Gears 3 were out, it was kind of like that back then, but it came together and towards Gears 3. The YouTubers, the people that were on YouTube doing the montages and that, would look down on the people on the forums, and it was like, we're trying to help. We're trying to learn from you people, trying to get better, trying to make the forums better, trying to make you guys better. And then finally around the end of Gears 3, it started coming, everybody started coming together. Now it's back being fractured again.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest thing is the game should always have its high skill curve and some moves like wall bouncing that not everyone's going to know. And the game doesn't need to show you that because it's not a mechanic that's implemented in the game. It's just something that, I mean, people figured out how to...
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, back in Gears 2, I used to host private matches because, I mean, back then people were a lot worse at playing Gears than they are now. Now almost everyone knows how to wall bounce to some sort of extent.
Yep.
Back then, I used to use little classes to teach people. I mean, community-wise, I would use the forums, and people would actually enjoy that, spend hours doing that. But this game, to me, feels more like it should be more like in better terms, it should be more like a Halo, where Halo has... Halo, in some term, it has died out in its competitive scene.
Yeah.
But its forum scene, it's so big. Like, if you go back to the Master Chief Collection, and you could play Halo 1, Halo 2, there's still thousands and thousands of players, and everyone's intertwined. Everyone's teaching themselves how to do bunny hops, how to do different moves. It's not in the game, but they should do that again, and not, like Viking says, we shouldn't separate the community.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you guys had the talk as well, but when we used to talk on Skype with, the TC guys, I'm sure they was on about doing a revamp to the forums at some point. And it's just not happened. It's just not gone, because we was meant to be a part of that kind of thing, weren't we?
Yep.
And then it's just kind of just flew away, and we don't even know what's going on with the forums. It just seems to be non-existent.
I don't even go to the forums as much anymore. It's so toxic now. It's not even... I used to be on there all the time, every day, posting. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm on there once a week, maybe once a week.
So I don't even go on there anymore.
It's just a cry fest and a bitch fest. That's all it is.
Yeah. And that's also the biggest thing. They allowed people to... Yeah. They allowed them to bitch too much and focus on that, and not focus on the actual good, and, let's make meetings, let's make private matches, all that type of thing. Because if you go back into it, everyone always complains about the new game and says the last game was better. Back in Gears 3, people said Gears 2 was better. UE, they said Gears 3 was better. It's always going to happen. But once everyone's on the same page that this game is not how it should be, that's a serious problem.
I mean, what do you think, Donald? Because you're a moderator for Gears. You around on the internet pretty much all the time.
Yeah, it's being a moderator on there sometimes it's weighty, because you read just negative, and there's very few people on there that are positive, and when they are, then people, of course, have to try to knock them down, and you're just kissing up to TC, and it's
like, what time?
It gets pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, it is tough seeing this type of thing every single day. It's crazy how the Gears forums used to be one of the greatest things with Gears, and now it's just gone. It's just gone.
Absolutely, it was. Gears 2 and Gears 3 forums were just amazing. I call it the magical land. That's what I call it, because it was just pure magic, man. It was pure magic over there.
So
there were so many giveaways and so many people just helping each other. It was just amazing.
It was good.
Now, more positive note, is there anybody out there in the community right now that you can think of that's doing more of that, that's positive, like a positive influence?
Shadows, Razor's Edge.
I mean, Raw.
Yeah. Raw is another one. Candace.
Are these your favourite people to watch? Like, these your go-tos? So if you go on YouTube, these the guys that you watch? Or
they're just people I've known from the community for a while. The Crimson guys, you guys, and now the new crew seems to be doing pretty good. We're still around here and there when we can be. I just did a giveaway last month for the UE edition. So we're still trying to keep ourselves out there as well. COD Couple is amazing at what they do.
They'll be watching this and they'll be gassed up now. Stuff. Paul's gonna be like, "Yeah, Pablo, yeah, Sophie, let's go."
they're very enjoyable to watch. So
they're a funny group to watch.
I mean, but to be fair, there's not that many. It's a small group.
It's a very small group. It's a handful, not like it used to be. It used to be, boom. I mean, Evil was out there doing his thing, and you had, Drayox doing his thing. You had us, you had Crimson, you had all of these people, and now it's just like maybe 8 to 10, if that.
I do think it's worth shouting Plasma on Twitter because it's hard to find anybody more positive than he is right now. He's
Who's that?
looking for Plasma. If you're looking for somebody to, follow that's positive and upbeat, then he's definitely the one. He's super.
Chaps too. Don't forget Chaps and what he's doing with TACOM. That stuff is just really great. Chaps is just doing a hell of a job.
He's got the people talking. That's what people need. We need to get more people voicing their opinion. Yeah. And because there's a lot of people out there that don't get to talk. I mean, like you guys, I think this is probably the first thing you've been on in a long time where you can actually voice and say, like, look, be honest with the community. I'm a big fan of YouTube. I watch COD Couple. I watched them for a long time. I also watch a bunch. I watch King Abs. I watch Shadows. I watch Razor's Edge. So there's a lot of names out there that I watch. Landon.
Daz too. Don't forget Daz.
Yeah, Daz as well.
He's killing it on Twitch right now, guys. He is, if you can go out there and give him and I'm not talking to the four of us, I'm talking to the people that are going to be listening to this.
Yeah, of course.
If you can go out there and give Daz a subscribe on Twitch, do it. The dude is killing it, man. He's doing his thing. He's working his butt off.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's also I followed him since the beginning, Kaymanian.
Yep.
Mr. Kamani, he's good. He's a good content creator as well. He streams as well on YouTube and on Twitch. That's what they're all doing now. All these YouTubers that have just started to grow, they started to move towards Twitch now because the viewership's there. Twitch streaming at the minute is brilliant. You got like the likes of J Motions. You got Matt. You've got there's a ridiculous amount of streamers out there now on Gears, but they all seem to help each other out on Twitch, which is, it's nice to see. You got Starspawn, you've got, oh my god, there's ridiculous amounts. I could go on forever.
Raw's on there. You're on there.
You got Dutchy, everyone.
Dutchy's on. Cherry Quench is on there.
Yeah.
Cherry is just amazing too with what he does.
He's a good horde player. Cherry Quench is. He's got good tactics. I want to see more from him because he hasn't really been too active in Gears at the moment. I wish he was more. But he does some good stuff. Cherry Quench does.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of talking about community type stuff, are you guys? Oh, there's just been a pop up. 1 second, guys. What is that? Get off my screen. There we go. It's gone. Okay. Roll that back. Okay, so one of the things I was going to ask you guys is because we're on about community right now is, are you guys going to do an event this year? Are you guys going to do something before Christmas? Are you going to push something out? What's the deal with you guys? Because I know you've said you're holding back, but are you looking to do something?
That's a tough one. It's just we don't want to disappoint the fans because if we promise something and we can't uphold our end, maybe due to other circumstances like TC or the game, it's just going to create more chaos. So until the game's actually properly set and we have a good channel to communicate with TC, I'm pretty sure we're just going to stay under the radar for now. Yeah.
I mean, as long as you guys are staying active, you're still doing your tweets, you're still retweeting stuff.
Definitely.
I'd probably focus on getting your GFC Twitter on the popping while you're waiting for the game to go. Even if you try and get some streams in there. If anyone's free to do it, I'd just try and get something ball rolling. Because I mean, you probably saw the news of myself. I sold Crimson Squad because of the game. The way the game was, it just couldn't do nothing with it. So I just moved it on, get it to somebody else who could maybe do something, which they are now. They're doing tournaments and stuff. So
yeah, they just posted another one today. I just retweeted it.
Yeah, they're doing a free for all tournament. I think it's next month. I think so. It'll be nice to see them doing it.
Yeah, I mean, for the future though, I think that if we get a direct line of support, like a channel to talk. And if maybe they pick a group or at least a community leader to communicate with everyone else, or to have an actual, like, a council of all the group leaders and stuff like that, just so we could all be on the same page. Because I remember also back in the day, it was hard. Let's say if you had 2 or 3 groups and they all wanted to do an event the same weekend, it was difficult to communicate. But if there's a proper line of communication or transparency, I think that this could grow quite big really fast.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I did. I was like, we saw when I started up Crimson, we saw a gap in the market for it, because you guys were the only group out there that was doing the thing, and we should, help each other out. That's why we did that first event, that God of Thunder event. We helped each other out, and it boosted
and we
each
always
other.
Worked with each other. I was always like, hey Sean, we're gonna do our event this weekend. When are you guys planning on doing yours? And then if you guys had a conflict, we would switch us around, or you guys would switch you guys around. Yeah. It was always like that.
And if we could try and support each other in terms of playing in each other's events, and that's what the community should be about.
And right now, it's not like that.
No.
And that's our kind of our biggest gripe is why we haven't really put anything out. Dom covered it perfect. He said he was perfect.
And it's quite simple to fix, like small little things. Right now, they're doing really heavy on cosmetics, and I mean, some of them are on a paid wall, some aren't. Use in-game currency, but very simple, just to make people want to be part of the community. If they hold the prize, maybe with one of us, or just their own tournament, and let's say you could get your own skin or your own weapon skin or character skin or something into the game, maybe for even a temporary time. That's going to push so many people to play.
That was brought up before about why we didn't get our own skin and why Crimson didn't get their own skin and why they're not doing community based, because if they give it to one set of group,
not to give it to everybody,
people are going to complain, well, why can't I have that? The Midnight, the Midnight Omen, remember the Midnight Omen one that we gave away?
That was a good emblem. It was a nice emblem.
People were complaining about why is it that they are just giving it away? Why is the GFC giving it away? Why is Crimson giving it away? Why can't we have access to that?
Yeah.
So, we were told that, look, we really don't want to do this because it's creating a backlash, which, come on, you're making something exclusive. People should want to try and sign up. Hey, I'm going to sign up and I want to win this.
Exactly.
It's instead of just saying, hey, I want to, complain and say, well, it's not fair. It's not fair. Well, if it's not fair, then sign up and play. Sign up for Crimson's tournament. Sign up for the GFC tournament. Sign up for what Raw is doing. Sign up for what these other groups are doing, and have a chance at winning it. You don't win it, so what? You try again the next time they do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to make it more fair, if they didn't want to create that whole I have something and you don't, and that's not fair because I can never get that, they should have created. I mean, Judgment wasn't my favorite game, but they did a lot good in the community. If they do something like a Reaper. But
that was the worst idea they ever did.
Exactly.
The Reaper was the worst thing they ever did.
And what did that cause in the community?
It caused nothing but strife and jealousy and hatred towards one another in the community. Yeah. I was the Reaper for, God knows, almost a year. And I saw nothing but, it was backlash and hate, not towards myself, but towards other people, like, hey, why did this person get it? What, they didn't do anything. Why did see that? And that's what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous. And then people are like, they need to bring the Reaper back. I'm like, no, they don't. Let the thing die because, this is a sore subject with me. I'm talking about this.
No, I want you to be honest, man. I want you to be honest.
The Reaper was the worst thing they ever did. It just was. The way it was implemented was great. I'm glad they did the community leaders, but you had people that were, hey, I'm friends with this person from Epic, so I'm going to get the Reaper, or how come these people didn't get it? They've been busting their butt in the community, but somebody who's been in the community 5 minutes got it. That's what people were bitching and complaining about. I mean, I could give you examples, but I'm not going to because, that's in the past as to where we were going with that. Because there was people that were very deserving to have it that didn't have it. And there are people that weren't deserving that got it. And there was a lot of backlash around that Reaper.
Yeah, you just had to know someone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we had it. Don, this was before you were with us.
No, but I remember that. Yeah.
We had it. I had it, and DJ Al had it, and pretty much everybody in the EGFC, GFC had the Reaper. But we were putting out an event a month. We were doing Thursday night, a weekly Thursday night event. So obviously, we earned it. We earned it. There was other people like Monty had it because what he was doing, and there was guys
on festival, weren't they?
Yep. And it was just and then there was other people that I'm friends with Flack or I'm friends with Cher, so they're going to give me the Reaper. It's like. How fair is that to the people that are busting their asses like the people from the GZB who didn't get it, who should have had it, like Dutch and Bumble, who were doing these GZB events every week, and watching other people get something they should have gotten.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done ranting.
Donald, you got some more questions, bud?
On that subject.
Got a question, Donald?
Just back onto the note of the community, and I think it's important to point out that it's not. You don't want other people to fail so you can succeed. You want to be able to out them. Like I see a lot of jealousy in the community when it comes to Shadows and stuff, and it's like people want him to, and nobody should want him to fail. You want to outdo him. You want to go above him, not because he did anything wrong. Which, let's face it, he's never done anything wrong. It's just that people get jealous, and you don't want him to fail. So it's not an either or. It's he's doing great. So match him. Match him. Do something better. We don't want him to lose. I think yesterday when I was in his stream, he had 150 viewers. You don't want him to drop to 75. You want.
Listen, we've been dealing with this from the GFC end for years and years and years. People have been trying. Hey, I hope that their events don't go well. I hope because of jealousy. Yeah. We need to build each other up, not tear each other down in this community. I'm going to tell you guys this, Don and Sean, and Dom. He can attest to this. When we started the whole thing with you guys and the God of Thunder. Yeah. Okay. The first thing Liam said to us is, "You guys are all going to work together and play nice, right?" And we were like, "We are absolutely going to do that. Yeah. It's not our job to tear them down. It's our job to help them. We've been in this community a long time. These guys are new. We want to help them and help them to succeed, not help them to fail. And you guys can attest to this. We were right there with you guys 100% all the way.
Yeah.
And that was a great event. It turned out beautiful.
It was unreal. It was for a first event. It was unreal. The viewership was ridiculous.
It was amazing.
It was ridiculous.
And we both came together and we did it. And it's possible to have two groups come together and do things.
Yeah.
Instead of tearing each other apart. And that's the whole thing with this community. This community loves to tear each other apart. It doesn't love to build each other up. And we need more of the building each other up if we want this community to survive going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Shadows playing, and we had Razor. Razor, didn't he play in God of Thunder?
I think briefly he was.
Razor played. Yeah. Even
Razor played.
Raw. Well, when Raw was in Essence, he had his own team. He had an Essence team.
Yep. See, so that's what I'm talking about. That's the community coming together. Instead of hey, well, these guys are doing this and we want them to fail, so we're just going to avoid it. I've been seeing this with the GFC for years and years and years, not getting teams coming in the tournament because not that they don't want to come in and play, it's just they don't want to come in and support us because they want to see us fail. I've been doing this an awful long time. I've seen it and seen it and seen it.
I mean, people also have the mentality of there's not enough on the table, so I gotta get everything on my end and screw everyone over. When in reality, there's so much that everyone can benefit just by sharing and actually playing together and collaborating. Like streams, people don't tweet about someone else's stream because they think that it's gonna cut down on their viewership. That's just that's not a proper way of viewing this. Like I don't know if it happened with you guys when you were in Crimson, but we had the best detectives in the chats when we were doing the events. People coming up saying this person's a third account, that he knows this cousin, they're ex-pro, they can't play. And I'm like, come on, it's an event, just play for fun.
Then I would sit there like an hour before our tournament would start, and I'd be investigating. this person, and it's just like I'd be asking, hey, do you know this guy? Do you know like other pros and that I know? And it'd be just like, come on, man, it's just a game. We're playing for community and stuff, man.
We had the same issue. We did a 2v2 tournament, and we had professional players playing, but we didn't realise we did a background check of all the players, but these two specific players that played, we didn't realise that they were actually LAN players. So they're good players, you know what I mean? But because they weren't heavily known players, we had no idea, and they literally breezed through the tournament.
See, but I understand that too. Why they don't want, the people like us don't want those guys in there, because they're gonna walk through the. Come on.
Yeah, you want a very competitive match,
Yeah,
you want it very even. You want it very even till the very end. That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the moment as well in the community, there's a lot of talk about TCA. You guys have probably heard about it. You guys have got to probably discussed it between yourselves. Have you guys applied for it? Have you put in for it? What's your view on the TCA stuff?
The new one.
New one, yeah.
I know we put in for the one that was just out before that TC had, but the revamped one, I think we're signed up for it. I think Mad Dog signed us up. I'm gonna have to check. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a great thing to have. Those resources that they put out with the picture drops they do and all that stuff. It's a great thing to have as long as they implement it correctly.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people are complaining that they're not getting the assets for that. I mean, Pro Gear.
Who is amazing with what he's doing.
What he's doing at the minute is ridiculous.
Give him a follow on Twitter, everybody that's listening. Follow his
Gears Utility.
Yes, Gears Utility. Make sure you guys follow that. That
that's
thing is
great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's done a good job with that. I mean, he's been able to do character assets and stuff for YouTubers and stuff that they can't even get from TC themselves. TC should be able to go, here's some folders of every single image,
My
every
background I run on Xbox, he made for me.
Yeah.
With Ty and like the Hammer Dawn coming down and it says Viking across it. Jay made that for me, and I haven't stopped using it. I refuse to use anything else but that.
He does some good stuff for me. From where he came from to where he is now, he's done a pretty good jump. I mean, he has his own app. He controls all that himself, and he does a good job with it. People should go download it on the Play Store because it's free.
I love Gears Utility. I've been using it since the day one, and I'm glad it came out. It was about time we had something like that for the community that put everything together.
Jay also, he's the guy that if you need any help with anything, like if you can't get something to install right or anything, Jay is always willing to help people with stuff like that. Anytime I have anything now, he's my go-to. And he, even through text messages and stuff, he can usually tell me exactly what I need to do.
If I can't solve it on myself, or if I got a tech issue and I can't get Mad Dog to help me with it, I go to Jay.
Yeah. He's probably the best.
So please give him a follow on Twitter. It's at ProGear360, I believe.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
He's gonna get a kick out of that when he listens to it.
But these are the little things that we should everyone promote, and hopefully on TCNs they create. I mean, they used to before, but like a landing page or just promoting everyone that's doing great things, and especially, I mean, everybody that does everything is for what they love. It's all free.
Yeah.
No one ever.
Yeah, we don't get to pay the dime to do this.
Yeah.
That's another thing that people ask us about. Well, no, we do this for free. This is our own time and effort and energy.
We said we don't get anything off TC either. We didn't get anything off them. They didn't give us skins. They didn't give us any of that. We were just like, hey, as long as you could provide us with prizes.
Was the Accommodation Lancer.
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
Yeah. And you ain't fucking lying there. Shit. Sorry for the F word. But...
No, it's all good. You got another question, Donald? I'm sure you got one following that one, haven't you?
Just my lob question, big question in the community right now is the 4v4 versus 5v5. Which do you prefer?
For our tournaments, myself personally, I think the 4v4 moves a little smoother. It spaces things out more. than it would is with 5 players. But I like the 5v5 is pretty good too. So, in my honest opinion, and Dom, I'm sure he has his. I'm fine with either one, but I prefer the 4v4.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at it, I'm a big fan of Gears, Halo, and a lot of also Call of Duty, and they're going through a similar thing right now, transitioning from a 5v5 on this last game to a 4v4 in the new one for competitive scene. And personally, like how Viking said, it's 4v4 does run smoother, and it's easier to create a map that you could transition through without having obstacles or having that one person that just sits back and creates an anchor to. I mean, in Gears, it's just either spawn trap or protect one specific weapon, and while everyone else does something, it's a more interesting flow when it's 4.
Yep.
It's easier to see also on our end when we're on the how do you call it, when we're viewing everyone's screen. It's easier to transition from 4 people and keep everyone on track. But when there's 5, that extra player, it's crazy how much it gets difficult. Just
when we're running, he's talking about when we're running Ghost Cam.
Exactly.
And, streaming, and that it's the 4v4 is easier to keep track of everybody than 5v5. You can lose 5v5. You can lose people, and you lose the action. And for us who stream these events, we want all the action as much as we can get of it. So
exactly
with a 4-player, the 4v4, we can get more of the action down.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're going with it, right, Dom?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't. It's just about one more player. You can't follow everyone properly, and people start losing interest. And then you might have that one person say, "Why did I get less airtime than this person? Even though I was doing this, you didn't catch me." And it's like, it's just little petty things, but it makes life easier.
You can't help it when you switch camera and they die, and
exactly
it automatically will switch to another player. That's what you can't help.
And I mean, a big thing also is just, since they keep bringing back old maps, they changed the maps very little, and these maps, most of them were made to be played with 4 people, like the Gears 1 maps.
Yep.
But now you introduce a new player, you might have a new staircase, a new entrance, but the map now plays completely different. So, I mean, they have to take that into account also.
Yep.
I like the 4v4. I think it runs smooth. I do miss the 5v5 because if you've got a big friend group, that's 1 player less you can't play with. That's it's a bit like but like with 4v4, the gameplay feels a lot smoother. It moves a lot better in terms of like. Gunfights and stuff seem to last, and you have to sort of hold your own kind of thing. So it requires a lot more skill to hold a 4v4 fight than a 5 versus 5. You can have set roles, as for your your roles are kind of switch a little bit. You have to play a bit of everything, bit of support, bit of Slayer. It's all about the teamwork changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. TC or Epic Games? Very simple.
Do we have to answer that?
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. But yeah, it's a difficult.
Are you talking about communities?
Let's split it up.
And what we did and what we do with the GFC, Epic Games by a mile. They were so supportive. I mean, TC's been supportive of us too. Don't get me wrong; they have been. They've been great. But just communication and alone, Epic was they were on point, man. Anything we needed, we had it. Hey, we were doing this event. They're like, "What do you need from us?" And bang, bang, bang. This is what we need, and we would have it done. Where with TC, with Liam, it was okay. He would try the best he could, but after he left, it's been rough, and all right, I'm gonna not say anymore.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. It's the same for me. I'd say community-wise. See, I'm not. It's hard to get a balance between the two companies because they've both done considerably well. I mean, I'd say they've done well. TC done well for me in the UE stages of community. They've done well with giving stuff out and and giving people a hand and shouting people out and stuff. And then as it's gone on, as the games have progressed, it's like they've got a lot busier, which they probably have. But it's the TC and Epic Games question is a big one in the community, because people are like, oh, we want Cliff back, and it's like, will Cliff really be able to create a Gears game again?
Well, what they want back is that feeling that they had in Gears 2 and Gears 3. They're not going to get that again. Even if he comes back, they're not going to get that back, that feeling that they had. Those are totally different games on a totally different Unreal Engine. You're not going to get it back. It's not going to happen.
It was a different era also. I mean, back then you could join any lobby and people were actually talking. Nowadays, you join any lobby, no one's talking, even if they're not on a party chat. So, but that's not on their fault.
But see, what it is, too, is they want to go back to how, hey, I was good in Gears 2 and I was good in Gears 3. I'm playing 4 and 5. I'm not so good. They want to go back to when they were good. It's not going to happen like that anymore. It's a totally different company. It's a totally different game. You're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the biggest thing on that point, since, I mean, it's two different companies completely, the biggest negative that happened to TC was, I mean, when they transitioned from when they opened up as Black Tusk, and we had Rod doing everything, and, I mean, they started working on UE prematurely and everything. They were doing great because they were kind of like an indie company, very low-end, low staff. But once they got picked up by Microsoft,
that's been the problem.
Yeah,
that's
Microsoft
the main problem.
Microsoft does amazing for advertising, for promoting the game, for collaborations. At least from our end, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But since they put Gears on a really high pedestal, right next to Halo as the face of Xbox, they put a lot of stress on just a very small staff. So they started hiring new people.
Did to Destiny, they kind of and EA. They kind of killed Destiny. Bungie ended up going off on their own now, and Destiny's a lot better since they got away from Microsoft.
Yeah, so it's just they put a really big light on you, and they expect you to be the best. And to be fair, no game's ever the best. If you remember,
it's not even that, Dom. It's they want hey, we got this deadline. We want this game put out now. Yeah. We don't care how finished it is. Just put it out.
Exactly.
And then you got these companies like TC struggling to get their games out, and then you get the mess that we had with Gears 5 when it launched.
Exactly. They push games too early. Yeah. And, I mean, it's hard to put a finger on it, but it seems to be a common denominator on that.
Yeah.
You've got Cyberpunk, where they've had their game set back about 3 or 4 times now. But people have come to accept that it's been set back because they want to do more. They want to make sure that game, when it releases, the bugs are minimal. It's the cleanest game possible, and that's what the studio should be doing with Xbox. But because Xbox will go, okay, this is the date you need to get the game out by. Here's your money. Good luck. See what you can do with it. That is literally it. They don't even give them a chance to Halo's had a setback, but I agree with that setback because from what I saw on that E3 trailer from Halo
those graphics were trash.
Awful. Was absolutely awful.
Absolutely.
But I think that's the best thing that they could have done because I think they finally opened their eyes and seen pushing games early, even though they put all the money they can in those games. They come out to be trash in the first month after everyone's excitement leaves.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure Halo's the first game that they actually realized, and that's why they pushed it back a whole year. But Cyberpunk being I don't think they were expecting to be headlining the console wars and everything, being the top game for December right now. But that's a lot of weight to put on your shoulders. If the game for some reason doesn't work out, if it's another Assassin's Creed Unity and people just criticize you, they have to make sure it's quite polished. So I agree with all their pushing back. And to be fair, if it's still not perfect, I would recommend them to push it back even more because I don't want them to release a product that's just bad and the game dies out and everybody forgets about it. And that's happened a lot in the last couple of years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Donald,
you got some more questions? I've literally just got 2 questions left. That is it, I believe.
Not really. I do think it's important to point out that a lot of times in the community you hear people say that TC doesn't care. And I promise promise you everybody, that is not the case. Just imagine if you go to work all week and you bust your ass, and then at the end of the week, when you're leaving, your boss is like, "Hey, you did a shitty job this week." That's so no.
Oh, I know for a fact they care. I've talked to Liam.
I think they're working as hard as they can with what they've got to work with, and when it falls short, I'm sure it affects them, more than people like to think that it does.
Yeah,
it's rough. I feel for them as people a lot of times, even though I'm not always, the biggest fan of everything that comes out. But, when I don't like something, I'm like, hey, that's not my thing. Maybe it's somebody else's. But when this person, when people go at them personally and say that they're lazy and they don't care, I think that's a little bit too.
A prime example for that. Prime example.
Yep.
He had to rebuild multiplayer, and he added this, added that, added this. He put some time into it, and if he slipped up at any point on a trailer or in a video or on stream, people would be on him like hot shit, like just because But the thing is, they gave shit to him about the multiplayer being bad and the Nasher being bad, the Lancer, the tunings and stuff. But it's not. People don't realise it's not just him working on it. He'll have a squad doing the play tests. He'll have a squad testing weapons, testing maps. It's not. But everyone would point fingers at him because he's the guy that was seen on screen the most.
So they're figuring he's the boss, and he's the one that takes the most responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the shotgun, since that's a really big topic in the community, I think that they shouldn't mess with it by having two variations in the same game. When you have two variations and you switch back and forth, you can see the difference, and you just don't want to play a certain. Either you don't want to play the pubs, or you don't want to go in the competitive because you don't like it. But what I do appreciate from them is, at least in the videos that they did release, they went very in depth into why they changed certain things. They tried to make it fair. Now that it didn't work out how it should have been, that's another story. But they actually tried to make it fair, because back in the day, I mean, shotgun was just. It was all luck, to be fair. You would shoot someone based on connection, based off of the pellets. You might not get the person. So when it comes to them trying to make it as fair as possible, especially since they're pushing it competitive, I understand that. I just think that they focused too hard on it, and they switched to it too much. And that made the community quite mad. Yeah.
It's just very hard to see, I mean, Ryan got a lot of shit, and you have Rod Ferguson leave as well. That was a massive move, that was, for Rod Ferguson. But at the end of the day, if he's happy working on a different franchise, that's up to him. If he's got extra money, you know what I mean.
He's been on the Gears franchise since the start.
Yeah.
He had to be burned out.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough also on him, because from my understanding, he's the one that actually, when they transitioned to Black Tusk, they put the whole weight on his shoulders, because he was the only OG Gears person. So he had to teach everyone, because the whole company was new. No one used to work on any of the other games. So, I mean, that must have been exhausting. And
he had to bring people in, I mean, he brought Octus in, who was probably one of the biggest Gears heads at the time at TC. You'd got Parasidian, with probably the most knowledge at TC. He had, he knows everything by the book. He's a great aspect to the team. Most of the play testers are really big fans of the game. Like, you got Seriously Soapy, he's one of the most sweatiest TC players I've ever seen play.
Yeah,
he's ridiculous. You've got
crazy good.
Shout out to him. He's absolute god at the game. He's unreal. You've got Strangulate, pro players coming in to help. The amount of help that they've got behind them is crazy. There was like true Gear fans. There's probably some employees out there that work there that that don't really know the game as well as they do, but it's just Gears is a big learning curve game. It's a big learning curve game.
I mean, just for the next, I mean, if there is going to be next Gears, which I hope so, but just for the games to succeed, they have to focus is on building a proper foundation of the community and making sure everyone is actually happy and new people want to join the game. Now, the whole learning part, yeah, this game has a huge learning curve, but that's what makes it special. It can't be too easy because then you'll cycle through players really quick. I mean, I know when was it? In Gears of War 2 I had it, but back in UE I wanted to start a community, not a program, but more of a school, and I was just going to teach people how to play, at least to a certain degree. But that never worked out because, I mean, the game didn't really focus on the community. They weren't promoting, they weren't helping out us that do all this. I mean, we do all this for free. This is all our hobbies.
It is, yeah. None of us get paid. None of us. It's all purely based off passion.
Yeah, and we don't get the proper respect a lot of the times. Also, we do something big, and it happened only a couple times, but then they take all the praise, but then we get all the hate, and so it's not. It wasn't fair properly. Hopefully that gets fixed.
Okay, I think that is all the questions I have for you guys. Is there anything that you guys want to ask us? Is there anything that you want to say to the people watching? You know, is there a message you want to give? You know, is there something that you want to pass on to people about the game, about the communities? There's one thing.
Yeah, just, you know, like I said earlier, try and build each other up and not tear each other down. This community's not going to survive and not going to get to the places that we know it can get to because we've seen it be there by everybody hating on each other and being toxic toward each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing also is just promote everyone that's actually still in it. And if you don't want to be a part of it for right now because of your love-hate relationship, just don't lose all hope. The game can, and hopefully will come back. Just, I mean, there's always going to be changes. Just expect the game to be different. And, I mean, if you are going to criticize the game, especially in the forums, make sure it's proper criticism, not just, I mean, like whiny complaining and, yeah. It's tough on everyone.
How about you, Donald?
No, to expand on that, the forums thing, you know, when you come on there and you got a complaint, then it's important to do it constructively, because if you start your post off, this game is shit, I have to delete. I like to do it.
Yeah.
That's constructive. You know, put in, you know, I'm not happy with this because this, and I would like it better if this, or this is how I think you should fix it. That nobody is going to delete that. Nobody's gonna. That's how it should be done. You don't have to not complain. Complain, by all means, complain. But do it constructively and not as a rant, and not you know, just as a nothing that's not constructive. Be constructive, and we will all appreciate you for it.
Exactly. That's how it's got to be everywhere, even on Twitter as well. So much hate. At least give criticism to the right degree. You know, don't, like you've just said, don't say, "Oh shit, oh this is crap. Oh, fuck this game. I'm going home. I'm gonna have a coffee." You want to be respectful.
Yep.
And just appreciate what they've tried to do, and give them an understanding on what you think is the right way to go around it. That's the best way to do it. Okay, guys, I think that is a wrap for today. This is the first podcast of many. I'll probably bring you guys on again for another episode if you guys are down. As I know you've got quite a few other members as well that probably want to speak as well. But it's been fun catching up with you guys. It's been a long time, and it's nice to talk outside of community stuff and talk about the real grit of Gears. And definitely, for sure, we'll definitely talk again, 100%.
Thank you for having us.
No problem at all. I'll have all your links on the screens, literally just down below, just here, or in the description. Go follow them. Make sure you check out GFC. Do a bunch of cool stuff in the community, and also check out some of their old events as well, so you guys can get an idea of what they're about. And cheers, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.